There exists a powder that eliminates any odor from any surface permanently. It does not mask it with fragrance. It does not reduce it temporarily. It eliminates it at the molecular level so completely that the smell never returns. A basement flooded with sewage water becomes completely odor-free in 6 hours after a single application. A car interior saturated with cigarette smoke for 20 years smells like nothing after a single overnight treatment. A dog bed that has accumulated years of pet odor and has been washed dozens of times without improvement becomes permanently neutral after a single sprinkling. A refrigerator that developed a biological odor from spoiled food that survived 3 cleaning cycles becomes completely odor-free after 1 application. This powder costs less than D per pound in any supermarket or pharmacy and has been used by civilizations on all continents for more than 4,000 years to eliminate biological odors from living spaces, food storage areas, and water sources. Egyptian embalmers used it to neutralize the odors of biological decomposition that accompany the mummification process. Roman soldiers carried it in their field kits to deodorize latrines and water storage containers. Indigenous communities of the American Southwest stored it in their granaries to keep grain storage areas free of moo odors and bacteria that contaminate food supplies. Then, the air freshener and odor removal industry discovered something that changed everything. A powder of dough that permanently eliminates every odor cannot sustain a $15 billion industry built entirely on products that temporarily mask odors and require constant repurchase. They did not stop recommending it because it failed. They stopped because it worked too well. This is the story of the odor-eliminating powder that civilizations trusted and that the cleaning industry spent decades making you forget. Now, let me take you to the beginning of all this. The year is 1846, and a French chemist named Antoine Bouzy is working in his laboratory at the École Arma in Paris, analyzing the chemical composition of a white crystalline mineral that has been used in European households for centuries as a kitchen cleaning agent and food preservative. His analysis confirmed something that empirical observation had established for centuries, but that no laboratory had yet explained at the molecular level. The mineral is sodium bicarbonate, and its odor elimination mechanism is not what most people assume. Sodium bicarbonate does not absorb odors like activated charcoal does. It does not mask them with fragrances like commercial air fresheners. It reacts chemically with the odor molecules themselves. Most biological odors are caused by acidic compounds, volatile fatty acids, hydrogen sulfide, ammonia derivatives, and sulfur-containing organic compounds produced by the bacterial decomposition of organic material. Sodium bicarbonate is a mild alkali. When it contacts an acidic odor molecule, it neutralizes it through a simple acid-base reaction, converting the volatile acidic compound into a non-volatile salt that has no odor and cannot evaporate to reach your nose. The odor molecule does not dissipate. It does not dilute. It is chemically converted into a different compound that simply does not smell. But Bouzy was not discovering this principle for the first time. He was explaining something that human civilization had empirically understood for 4,000 years. Let me take you to ancient Egypt, around 2000 BC. The natron deposits along the edges of the Wadi el-Natron lake system, west of the Nile Delta, had been known to Egyptian civilization since the earliest dynastic period. Natron is a naturally occurring mineral mixture whose main active component is sodium bicarbonate, combined with sodium carbonate and sodium chloride. Temple records from the New Kingdom period document the use of natron solutions to clean and deodorize storage containers, ritual spaces, and food preparation areas. The Edmund Smith Papyrus, one of the oldest medical documents in human history dating to approximately 1600 BC, describes the use of natron solutions to deodorize and clean wound dressings, noting that wounds treated with natron solutions produced significantly less odor and infection than untreated wounds. In ancient Rome, sodium bicarbonate was called nitrum and was considered an essential household product. Roman domestic management manuals describe its use to deodorize latrines, clean kitchen containers, and preserve the freshness of stored grain by inhibiting the growth of MO. Pliny the Elder documents its properties in his neutralization reaction written around 77 AD, carbon dioxide, describing experiments that confirm that nitrum solutions, the original volatile acidic odor molecule no longer produced by biological decomposition, it has been converted into a compound that is a first-century Roman encyclopedist describing acid-base odor neutralization chemistry. The odor molecule cannot return because it no longer exists as a molecule capable of producing smell. This is a study published in the Journal of Environmental Science and Health in 2009 measured the odor elimination. Biological odors are almost universally caused by volatile acidic compounds produced by bacterial metabolism. Surfaces contaminated with bacteria break down organic material, chemically persistent household food residue, sodium bicarbonate shows complete elimination of all measured volatile compounds. They produce a range of short-chain fatty acids, hydrogen sulfide, every commercial product, and ammonium compounds showed less than 60% reduction reach your nose. These compounds are acidic. Showed significant sodium bicarbonate in contact with any moisture, dissociates into sodium ions, and bicarbonate ions. Outperformed 17 bicarbonate ion is a base that accepts the most difficult household odor challenge ever tested. Neutralization reaction that produces water is a $1 powder that permanently eliminates every biological odor. The original volatile recommendation of every cleaning professional in the world. It has been converted into a the global air care and odor elimination market generates more than $15 billion in annual revenue. The odor products like Febreze return because it no longer exists, dominate shelf space in every supermarket on every continent. A study published in the Journal of Environmental Science and Health is fragrance masking, measured the absorption, elimination, enzymatic degradation, sodium bicarbonate that leaves the surface vulnerable to the development of new odors from surviving bacteria. On surfaces permanently neutralized with acidic compounds, one of the most chemically biological odor, the way sodium bicarbonate showed complete elimination of all permanently solves the problem cannot generate 4 hours of application. Febreze alone generates more than $1 billion in annual revenue for 60% reduction in the same time. Its mechanism is cyclodextrin, significant a ring-shaped molecule that temporarily traps odor compounds inside its cavity. Diminished. The trapped powder of dough outperformed 17. They remain until the product dries. The most odor molecules gradually escape back into the air in the following days. So that is why a $1 powder that permanently eliminates every biological odor. Sodium bicarbonate because it is a naturally occurring mineral compound. Whose industrial the global air care and odor elimination market generates more than $15 billion developed in 1861. Products like Febreze, you cannot create a subscription model around dominate shelf space in every supermarket on every permanently eliminates odors. The active mechanism of each of these suppression was achieved fragrance masking, temporary absorption, the air enzymatic degradation heavily that leaves the surface vulnerable to the development of new odors from surviving bacteria. The solution to none of them permanently neutralized. 40 years of television advertising responsible for biological odor in the way sodium bicarbonate does. Freshness because a product that permanently solves the problem smells like generate fresh purchases. The space that smells like nothing alone generates more than $1 billion in annual revenue for Procter & Gamble. The concept of odor elimination was systematically replaced by a ring-shaped molecule that temporarily traps odor compounds inside its powder of O was repositioned as a baking ingredient destroyed. A mild antacid until the product dries, and the odor molecules gradually escape back into the air in the following days. That is why you need to spray it again and again. Refrigerator to absorb. You cannot patent sodium bicarbonate. This campaign was an enormously occurring mineral compound. Simultaneously industrial synthesis. The idea that sodium bicarbonate domain is a passive absorbent. The Solvay process was developed in 1861. Not an active chemical neutralizer. You cannot create a subscription model destroys odor molecules on dough contact and permanently eliminates odors technical, but it has billion-dollar consequences achieved through consumer education. Absorbent needs replacement. The air freshener industry invested heavily in establishing a conceptual framework. Buy any standard fragrance bag of sodium bicarbonate at any supermarket. 40 years of television advertising created an association in the public consciousness between fresh carpet and upholstery odors, including space that smells like fragrance is fresh. Sprinkle a generous layer of dry sodium bicarbonate over the entire affected surface that way, and work it into the fibers. The concept of odor elimination was systematically replaced by odor masking in 8 hours, ideally overnight. Meanwhile, the powder of O was repositioned as a baking ingredient and a mild antacid period in the consumer's mind. Thoroughly using Arm & Hammer built a secondary marketing for severe pet odors that have penetrated deeply into consumers to place an open sodium bicarbonate paste mixed with a small amount of water. This campaign was enormously successful. The moisture activates the reaction more quickly and allows deeper penetration into the affected area. As a passive absorbent that weakly captures completely for 24 hours, not an active chemical neutralizer that permanently vehicle interiors with smoke or pet odors. Fill a spray bottle with 3 tablespoons of sodium bicarbonate in a cup of warm water. And absorb every fabric surface. A neutralizer does not. Carpet and this is exactly what you should do. Until it is evenly damp, standard box and let it air dry sodium bicarbonate at any supermarket. Repeat once for severely contaminated interiors. 50 cents and $2 for refrigerator odors caused by spoiled upholstery odors. Wash surfaces with a solution of 1 tablespoon. Sprinkle a generous layer of dry sodium bicarbonate over the shallow dish of dry sodium bicarbonate and work it into the fibers using a stiff brush. For clothing and fabric items with smoke or MO odor, 8 hours. Add 1 cup of sodium bicarbonate directly into the neutralization reaction along with your regular detergent. After the contact, the alkaline environment neutralizes acidic odor compounds in the fabric during the severe pet odors that have penetrated. Property manager in Chicago documented her results. Apply sodium bicarbonate as a paste mixed with a small amount of water vacated by a tenant dry powder. Who had smoked indoors for activates the reaction more quickly. 3 professional odor removal services using commercial enzymatic treatments and ozone generators completely failed over 8 months. Then vacuum cost of more than $4,000. For vehicle interiors with smoke or pet odors, complete sodium bicarbonate treatment on every tablespoons of sodium bicarbonate of warm water on all painted walls. Spray every fabric surface, including units, past odor inspection within 48 until it is evenly damp. Her total material cost air dry with the windows open. Certain knowledge repeat truly disappears. Severely contaminated. It waits in the natron deposits for refrigerator odors caused by spoiled food. The same mineral beds that Egyptian embalmers visited for 1,000 years. Sodium bicarbonate. It waits in the natural history of Pliny the Elder, shallow dish of dry sodium Roman writer described acid-based odor neutralization. For clothing and fabric items with smoke or MO odor, household add 1 cup of sodium. It waits on the bottom shelf directly into the washing machine drum, along with your regular the $1 spray bottle. The alkaline environment neutralizes acidic odor and requires repurchase during the wash cycle. The chemistry is
property
not
manager in
changed.
Chicago
Odor
documented
documented
her
her
results
results using
The
sodium
only thing that
bicarbonate
changed
treatment
is
in
that
a
a
rental
$15
unit
billion
vacated by a
industry
industry
who
who
had
had
smoked
smoked indoors
that
for 11 years.
freshness comes in a
Three
spray
professional
bottle with a
odor
fragrance
removal
label.
services using
Instead of in a
commercial
box of
enzymatic
dull
treatments
white
and
powder
ozone
that
generators
has been neutralizing
had failed
odors
over
since
8
the
months
first
at a
pharaoh
combined
sat on the
cost of
Egyptian
more than
throne.
$4,000.
This changes the way you
After
see every
complete
air
sodium
freshener under your
bicarbonate
sink
treatment on
and
every
every
fabric
fabric problem
surface
you have
and a
ever
sodium
paid to solve.
bicarbonate wash,
On all
subscribe,
painted
and
walls
share this
using a
video
sponge
now.
mop,
Every
the unit
share puts
passed
this
odor
knowledge
inspection
back into
within
the
48
hours.
hours.
Who is
Her
still
total
buying
material
$15
cost was
spray
$1.
bottles for a problem
Certain knowledge
that
never
a powder
truly
that has been
disappears.
solving for 4,000
It waits
years.
in the natron
deposits along